OBX Studio because
Yeah.
Streamlabs decided to go tits up on me and make audio absolutely impossible.
Okay.
So for whatever
Yeah.
reason, even though it's the same company making the same two different products that do the same thing, the audio works on this one, but it would make yours and Jake's voice sound like a robot on my end, and it would come out in
Yeah.
the stream, and it's just
That's weird.
not worth it. But we
Yeah,
are live,
definitely.
guys, so we're gonna jump right into it. We have Team Darkenstein here. We have the big brain behind it. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Rowye. I'm from Barcelona, Spain. I'm a musician. I'm a designer. I work as a cover artist. I do music covers. I play drums in a band, and I also learn how to make games.
All right. And you have somebody really special with you, the actual voice of the game. You want to tell us a bit about yourself as well?
Certainly, my name is Jake the Voice Par. I'm a voice actor currently with 11 plus years of experience under my belt. Um, and yep, I voiced the hobo guy from Darkenstein 3D, and I've also done some co-writing for the game, composed a few ambient tracks as well, and also helped out with the casting directing, getting other kind of voice talents on board too.
So you're responsible for the casting of the stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
She was a real treat. I want to say that was something I was not expecting to have that jump into the game. But speaking as a born and raised Southerner, I wanted to your face, thank you for the accuracy of the campiness of the Southern accent that you're using, and it's lovely. A lot of people would find that, oh my God, it's just an awful user. I'm like, no, I know people that speak like this. So you were I have people that are like, I'm seen. So it was awesome, and you actually got to use some of my dad's words in one of the one-liners. So that gives me chills every time it comes up.
Glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, I mean, the hobo guy voice. Um, it's one of those voices that I think voice actors have at least one or two voices that they can kind of click on and off that they can do pretty much seamlessly. And this was a voice that I ended up using many years ago for an old abridgment series. And it turns out I did a pretty good impression of this one kind of minor character, which they kept bringing back because they enjoyed my performance so much. And I mean, the series is still going to this day with sporadic releases, but in any case, it's very much like an altered version of that, just that gravelly kind of voice, but just returning and tweaking a slight southern twang to it without going, full on hee haw.
Oh yeah, it
Kind of
was it was
build mode,
campy, but it
obviously.
didn't go too far.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But I mean, there are we
Oh,
his camera has
that's
overheated.
my
Oop.
piece of garbage, low quality camera.
Well, he is
There we go. It's
Jake
back.
the voice, guys, not Jake the face. So
I'll smack it if it does that again. Don't worry.
nice. Yeah, because it is kind of artifacting a little bit. Does a few lines across the thing. Maybe need to get you a
Yeah,
Razor Keo or something.
just anything that probably costs more than £20 would probably be wise.
Yeah, I think
That's
I think my Razor Keo that I use is somewhere in the $70 range.
yeah,
It's
that's
very
probably a wiser
reasonable,
investment.
almost a disposable camera, because mine have gone through some real tough times. I have wildcats, I have Savannahs and Bengals, and they sometimes use the cords as chew toys. So if the
Not fun.
camera goes yoink, then someone's run with one of my cables. You just decided, hey, games.
No, it's not really a jump. It's, I guess, I do whatever. I like to do a lot of different stuff. I get not bored, but I suddenly get an interest for something I have to learn, and I was making maps for Wolfenstein and Quake 3 back in the day, so I kind of just got back into it, I guess. Like I'll stop making music for a couple of years sometimes, and then go back into it the same, or you know. So it's just getting that itch again to make playable worlds, and I just started making a tutorial. It was like 2020 during COVID, so everyone was a bit bored and everyone had too much time in their hands. You couldn't get out of the house, at least over here. So just good stuff to do. I went into Unreal, then I went into Unity, and then I ended up doing this.
I was actually shocked that it wasn't put in Unreal Engine
I
because
find Unreal
everybody
a
and
bit
God's
more,
trying to use it.
I think it's a bit more confusing. I find like Unity is easier to get into. The blueprints thing is a bit hard for me. I never liked visual coding style.
Okay, like I said, not being a game developer, I merely break them. Um,
You
I
do that well.
I have been lucky, but I understand enough to be dangerous when it comes to things like that because when for example I was tripping over the shields for the skeleton guys because they would die and their body would drop a shield, but since there is no jump in your game, you couldn't go around the shield and it would be game breaking. But it was nice that we could iron those out during the playtest period.
Yeah,
And
you were very early and it was very useful to watch you play, man. Really, because that one I thought it was fixed already, and then after I fixed it with you, I thought it was fixed again, and it still happened. It was like it was worse because the shields became invisible, so you wouldn't see it, but you would still get stuck.
oh
So it was
gosh,
even more.
that's
It
even
was
worse.
Yeah, that was more frustrating even. So I'm glad we could fix that just a couple of weeks before launching the game.
So you did the hobo guy as the voice, Jake, and do you do any of the other voices?
I'm also the narrator in the opening cutscene as well, so
Okay.
small role, but of course kind of important for setting the overall tone and vibe of the game right before the first level kicks off.
I had thought that you had done like a few of the other like Hitler and stuff
No,
You know,
no.
as well.
no, I honestly, I was genuinely tempted to do some of the, at least maybe voice some of the bad guys. I was genuinely tempted to do that, but when I get on board with projects and sometimes I go crazy and go, yeah, I'll swipe all these roles up, yay! But yeah, because that way I get to kind of flex my different skills and experiment, see what I can pull off. But other times I kind of tell myself, nah, try and do something different. Try and kind of reach out to people who feel like I know them, I know their talent, kind of what they're capable of doing, and especially if I feel like these guys are talented and I really want to get them more work because I want to get them pushed more into the limelight in a sense. So it's kind of a mixture of things. I'm thinking, who else can I get on board? But at the same time as well, I mean, some of the other kind of baddies getting voices was also because we thought let's try getting a casting call out and throwing that out and getting some people that way.
That's awesome. With voice acting taking a forefront now in a lot of the news, in both good and bad, because they had in Fortnite this year, they had an AI Vader that you could voice chat with, but they
Yeah,
use James
Yeah.
Earl Jones's voice with the permission of James Earl Jones's estate, but they didn't go and talk to SAG also, so SAG got butthurt and they wanted their pound of flesh too. I don't know where you fall on that sort of thing, whether or not SAG, with the permission of the estate in this case, whether or not whether or not you would support whether SAG had anything to do with it or not at that point.
It's a bit of a it's a bit of a spicy meatball, let's put it that way. That whole kind of controversy going on. Usually I'm personally non-union. I've not signed up to any unions. I don't really have a say in it. I don't
Well, you
even
do.
now. I don't really have. I mean, I do, but I don't have like my opinion is just my opinion. There's no real weight to it. I don't really kind of get myself involved in these kind of controversies personally, but I can look at both sides and go, yeah, okay, I can see why this side's saying this is bad and this side's saying this is
Sure.
bad. Hence the kind of tug of war between the two.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a huge Screen Actors Guild fan, having benefited from it myself. I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, something small like Fortnite, just for a 30-day period, was doing this feature. I think it would have been a waste of time to have engaged SAG and gone through all of the flaming hoops that a union project like that would have done, and they would have missed their window in time.
Well, when there's money to be had, there's always going to be people wanting to try and get some of that sweet moolah.
That's true. Who amongst us doesn't want a SAG day? Because here in Virginia, when you do acting, there wasn't a big SAG presence, so they basically did duck, duck, goose at the beginning of the day. And if you were goosed, you got SAG wages for the day.
All right,
And you
right.
get enough of those SAG days, they actually will send out an invite letter. And I had received one, but like I said, my back and knees decided, yeah, you're not doing this anymore. So,
Damn.
so I may be looking into a voice acting thing at some point.
Hey, if you ever need help or any tips or anything of the sort,
Oh,
give me a
absolutely,
shout. I'd be happy to help.
absolutely. Now let's talk about the soundtrack, since that's something both of you guys seem extremely passionate about, and I'm jumped on the bandwagon for it because that was like the secondary character going along for the ride with you, was this driving soundtrack, and I haven't heard shit like this since the original Quake soundtrack in the 90s, where you're going and you're getting ready to go after the big baddie and all that ammo's out in front of you, and it just starts ramping up and ramping up. And if you're in the middle of the thing, you're trying to solve a puzzle, you have this nice, calm, atmospheric music. It just, everything fit the situation. And I just wanted to, get to the bottom of some of how that came together.
Well, it's been honestly just 4 years of iterating on stuff and finding new things to do as well in that sense. Because since the project started just being like it was some sort of a mod or just something you do in your spare time to learn something. I started doing. I thought it would be cool to do covers of the original game. So I just all the songs that I did at the beginning were just started from ideas from the original game, and that was fun to do. It was a lot of fun to reinterpret those songs, in a metal kind of way. That was when this guitar player Logan Mayhew was already contributing to the project because I posted on Instagram and he came. Uh, he wanted to. He was like, "I'm ready to make music for games. I have the guitar. I have the recording set up. Let's do it." And then we started doing that. And so that was one time of the or one era of the soundtrack. And then he started getting a lot busier, and we kind of parted ways, just friendly, just because lost contact for a little bit.
Sure.
And I probably stopped like for 6 months or so, and continued making the game hardcore. There was also a bit of the time where I started getting more serious in the game because I was starting to lose jobs because of AI. That's like a
Mm.
couple of years ago, a little bit longer maybe. So I started leaning harder into making the game as well. And so I made a lot of most of the big maps at that time. And then after that, I started making the music for that. And I realized that, I need long songs and I need two tracks. That was a bit later in the process, but I realized I need long songs because I hate it when you have like a 3 minute loop, in a 30-minute map. That drives me nuts because I'm thinking about the music all the time. So in games, I'm also thinking about the music, and if you repeat the same thing 10 times to me, I'm just gonna go. you know. So I try to play with that too. That's why also there are moments of silence or levels where you start in silence. If it's short, maybe you don't get music until the boss. That kind of thing. I like to give different kind of moods to the different parts of the levels.
But the silence really kind of has its own presence too. When there's not driving music, you're going
Mhm.
around the corners, making sure you're not gonna get jumped out at, and things jump out in this game all the time, from grates, from boxes. There's so many jump scares, and bats, or at least there used to be. Um,
There's, I think there's four bats now in the whole game.
oh no, you've increased the bats just for me.
Oh, I haven't
It's
increased them. I reduced them for you, actually. I took a few of them out. I just left the one in the secret that you found last time I was watching you.
the old bats had like
That-
a
that-
pixel
yeah.
of hitbox, one pixel,
No, it's a little
one pixel.
ball. Come on.
Okay, two pixels, but they weren't anywhere near each other.
Bit tricky to shoot down. I made the mistake once of during play testing. I made the mistake of trying to lift the camera up and booting it in an
Oh yeah.
unrealistic angle. That crashed the game. I was
Oh,
like,
Oh,
that's something I never.
oh damn.
Well, nobody ever looks up. That's one of the truisms in games, and it's what killed 90% of everybody in Fortnite when it first came out because they had those ceiling traps. Nobody
Yeah,
ever
fair.
looks up. So you walk in, it's like, what's up? But
There you go.
what was your favorite part of the game when you made it? You know was it the when you were working on it and or playtesting it? What was the thing that just kind of grabbed you about the game?
you mean me? I
Both of you. It's either
I don't really know.
because
I don't really usually think about things in favorite terms. I have very few favorite things. I don't. I try to see. I guess I see different parts of beauty in different things. Um, there's parts that I like a lot. There's parts that like the level 8 lab when you go through that long corridor with the lightning bolts and
oh
the zombies,
yeah,
and then you go into a lab and it's full of scientists that just scream all the time, and shielders are hard to kill, and you have a lot of weapons, and you just go in there and just kill everybody. I like that part a lot.
that was an excellent map. Jake, how about you?
For me, I'd say one of my favorite moments is I believe it was entering level 9, which was put out for the winter demo, and it was moments like those that really kind of resonated with me because it felt like such a huge evolutionary step for the level design. Instead of being confined to labyrinths and labs and mines and tombs, seeing the great outdoors, but covered and bathed in just mountains of ice and snow everywhere. It was such a cool sight. It was so glorious to look at, and having to like run across the frozen dam and just kind of stare out over the frozen lakes, everything like that. I guess I just really like icy cold levels. They're always aesthetically pleasing on the eye, and of course, level 9 was no different. It was just
That was a
vast,
good one.
expansive in size. Yeah, yeah.
It really reminded me of a really good Unreal Tournament multiplayer map. I think it was called it was like just called Two Bases or something, and it had facing cliff faces, but it had all kinds of stuff in the middle ground. But it
I
was
kind of
done
got
on like an ice planet, and it was all white, and it was one of my favorite custom maps that they had for the original '99 Unreal Tournament.
right,
I
right,
wish I
yeah.
would have seen that map. I don't
But
think I know it.
but for me, I think that the desert map was it brought back so many memories of playing original Serious Sam, and I know we were talking about a survival mode and a map like that where the enemies just keep coming in waves. It just
Mhm.
when I got to that desert map, it was like, oh, this is Serious Sam with Nazis, and everywhere I turned, there was a new Nazi coming up on the roof, trying to get me. but probably some of the cooler parts of the game were, smaller parts, like your choices you'd make with the rat and with the scared Nazi guy,
Hmm.
where you either get like five plus on your health, or you get a companion that you can throw at SS chicks, which is always fun because those ladies are too fast.
They're hard to get, yeah.
Yeah.
They're running in heels too, so you got to give them credit.
That's something that we have to think about because I'm looking at a lot of streamers play, and I think it's not used enough. I think maybe we need to, I don't know, do something about it. Maybe every time you take a cheese, it gets a little bit more damage, or I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but I feel like
I
it's
always
very
choose the rat
underused.
though, man. It's such a good utility, but it just doesn't. I guess for the person that's not really, they just want to run and gun. They don't. They get in there and they don't think about the rat. I would
Mhm.
love to see more of that kind of mechanic, because being able to throw a distraction like a rat on somebody is a fantastic gameplay thing. Because you can
I
throw
think that's
Yeah,
throw
right.
the rat and then kick them, and usually that's end of it.
Yeah, but personally, I'd like to see when you throw Mr. Rat, I'd like to see that even if it, for example, doesn't attach to someone, it just like thumps them in the face or whatever, it doesn't attach. I'd like to see that do some kind of damage or maybe stun them momentarily. Even if it's just for a few seconds, gives you a chance to either, I don't know, swap a mag or just blast them in the face a few more seconds or something of the sort.
that could
Or
be looked into.
if
Yeah,
you miss, it would default to the nearest human in the room. Like, oh shoot, it went like missed by a foot, and it lands at the guy's feet, and it doesn't just scurry back to you. It just goes, oh, you'll do, which would be nice. Or if you could get like an upgrade, or if you get a cheese in the map, you could choose give it to the rat, upgrade the rat in some way, or you take your five.
that's
That would
another
be kind
option.
of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, not trying to make work for you. But
Oh, good. That's the stuff I'm thinking about because I watch people play and I see what they do, and so I try to, I try to take it the way I want it, which is people using the rat more. Also, people don't use a lot of people don't use grenades or mines or anything like that, but that's a whole different thing. Because by
I'm one
putting it,
of those that forget completely about the
it's
grenades.
very. I mean, if it was me, I would even by mistake I would press the right mouse button at some point and be like, oh, I have a grenade. I would remember. My fingers twitch.
I set that for my sniper, for my ADS.
Right. That makes sense, but then you lose the whole. Yeah, I can see that. It's a difficult choice
But
because
then
when I
again,
was
I
doing the
also
controls,
use one of these nasty 12 button razor
oh
mice
no,
that,
yeah, I have already.
are the bane of existence.
Yeah.
I'm an old Warcraft head. I played for about 18 years. So if you ever, in fact, I did some background acting with one of the guys that did voice acting in Mists of Pandaria. He did the voice for the young panda kid. He's like, I'm gonna grow a beard, and that was like his introduction. We were talking about World of Warcraft. He's like, yeah, I was the Pandaren kid that was trying to grow a beard, and I'm like, oh wow. But I'm sure you get that in your line of work a lot. Like I was, this, that, or the other. I was Red Mist Cloud number 5 in the sniper game or whatever.
I've had quite a few conversations with people where I bump into and we get chatting, and either I see something on their like banner or whatever, or vice versa. And like, oh, I remember you. You voiced this character. Yes, I did. I voiced this character. Oh right, wow. It's happened a few times actually. I think it's probably happened most with a point and click game called Burnhouse Lane. Um, which admittedly I didn't play for a while just because I just didn't get around to it. But I had a few people kind of go like, like pointing at each other, like, "Hey, you were in Burnhouse Lane. Hey, you were in Burnhouse Lane. Who did you play? This
Oh
character."
wow.
I haven't played the game yet, but yes, that character. Yes, note to self: play the game. I played
Yeah,
this
definitely.
character. You know.
But that's the way you can get thrown into some of the best games is by those conversations where they're like, oh, I was in this project. Oh, I haven't seen that. And then that makes you want to go out and check it out because you've kind of seen a little tiny bit of that spark that made that special to even just a couple of people in existence. You want to give it a shot. On that topic, let's see what people may have heard your voice from that they may know.
um, I'd say probably the most recognizable roles I've done so far would be Postal 4. That's I mean, that's one of my favorite roles, alongside Darkenstein. Don't worry, Roger. It's still my those are still my upper kind of echelons
Hey,
of favorite
Postal's
roles.
a
But
great franchise.
Postal
yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing, man.
I've
Oh yeah, yeah.
been a Postal fan since the very first one came out. Like I said, I'm 50 years old. I've seen everything from the cartridges on up. And it's just nice to see a return to the quality of games that we had in the 90s where shareware was king. Where you could go out to like an Egghead Software and buy this floppy disk in a Ziploc bag for like $5, and it had the demos, which at the time were an entire episode for free. And then when you got to the end of episode one of like Wolfenstein, it would go, well, you finished this game. However, there's 5 others that you can buy for $25. And here's the 800 number, and you get a code, and you unlock the demo. But the quality, we're getting AAA games with these AAA graphics, but at the heart of it, we're not feeling the AAA soul of what made Doom great, what made Wolfenstein great, what made Duke Nukem iconic. You know, the humor, the actual art of the game is just lost on things like Horizon Zero blah blah blah, that's
Mhm.
come out for like the fourth time, or the 28th Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean that's never gonna stop the Call of Duties. Even the Battlefield, sometimes they say they're good. I don't do multiplayer, but I feel like a lot of that is why indies are having a better time now, and why more and more people are starting to look into indies as an option. You know?
Well, I'd much rather interview you guys than have some guy in a polo shirt that had 15 minutes worth of work on it, but he's a producer and he's doing the press junkets. I'd
Yeah.
much rather get down in the dirt with the people that actually did the digging. You know, and your game is absolute proof that you don't need 700 people dithering over one pixel.
You definitely don't. I mean, there's a lot of overspending in the industry, but also, I mean, it's 4 times working all the time. It's a lot of downloaded models. I could have spent 2 years more just doing assets, which I didn't do. I took free models from what I could, or I bought a couple of packs from the Unity store. I try to make everything look, right, but it's a lot of work for one person. That doesn't mean that you need a team of 500. That's it seems ridiculous. Because here's the thing: if I want to do double as much work, I need two more people because I'm gonna have to spend one third of that time trying to communicate with everyone, and looking at whether the stuff is good or bad. So every time you raise that bar, you're just putting more and more bureaucracy in the process, and at some point, it's probably just too much.
I
And you can make a
wholeheartedly
change
agree.
without you can make a change without it going up through the whole chain of command, and that takes like a week and a half. So every
That's
time
and
you want to
that's
change
time you
something,
could be doing things instead of yeah. Believe me, it was just from my observations on set on things like turn. If they wanted to change one little thing in the scene for the day, it literally had to get run up the flagpole all the way
right?
up to the
Yeah.
top, and then they had to wait back. It was the largest game of telephone, even though they had walkie talkies. It was organized chaos. But
It's all,
what I learned is when I did a smaller thing like Vampires in Virginia, we had we got more done faster because we had less people we had to, please in order to get the shots or and it's nice to see people like you and Roz Gaming and others in the space that have just said, I'm gonna just for the shit of it learn how to make games because I'm locked down and bored. And look at the beautiful things that are coming out last year, this year. Indie's on fire, and
yeah.
it's really cool to see you guys coming out there. And this is a week on from the vaunted release, and
Mhm.
everything I've seen, and my entire X feed is still just Darkenstein heavy. People playing it, posting videos, going, "Oh shit, this hobo guy's awesome." It's cool. I had a friend who installed the game. He does not like Steam. He doesn't play on Steam. He's like, "Fuck it, I'll install Steam for this." So,
Well, now he can play without Steam, so he doesn't even have to run Steam because there's no DRM. So he can just run the game. No need to turn on Steam again.
oh, nice, nice. I will definitely tell him. But he's like, "Man, if I have to get it from Steam, so be it." He literally had to resurrect his account, and they had the little account code come into his email. It was hilarious because he likes playing old games. Like he plays right now. He's probably playing original Shadow Warrior. If
Okay.
if I have to,
Classic.
sticky bomb like you.
Uh, I
Who
actually
wants some
interviewed
wang?
I actually interviewed Lo Wang's voice actor John William Galt many years ago.
Oh wow! I
Yeah,
bet that was
yeah,
awesome.
it really was. It really was. Like the guy was he was I think it was a good 80 plus when I managed to chat to him because he passed away a few years
Oh
afterwards.
no!
Um,
Well,
but
80 plus
that
years. That's a
opportunity.
good run.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he had so many great stories to share and so much kind of insight to share about the character as well, and also the working on Shadow Warrior, and also things like Deus Ex and on stage
Was
work
he
and voice
involved in
acting
Deus
work.
Ex? Nice.
Yeah, yeah, he
That's a
was
that's
the
a
pilot.
deep cut.
Yeah, the that the infamous scene with oh my god, JC a bomb. He was the pilot who was saying, "Oh my god,"
Oh my
he
gosh.
voiced him. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That just unlocked a core memory because I haven't played that game probably since it released, the original Deus Ex, and they've probably had 5 or 6 of them since, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
quite a
I've played
few,
a
quite a
few.
few.
They had gosh, I can't think. I got one of them with a video card
There's a
because you.
couple new ones, and I think there's a second one from back in the day that went into consoles as well. It wasn't not that great.
I was more into Red Faction when Deus Ex came out. It
Red
was
Factions, I
really a
think, yeah,
hard
I
thing.
think,
It was a hard thing to pull myself away from a fully destructible environment.
yeah, Red Factions are a really cool game. I think the combat, a little bit like that, but the way that it follows the story and that it creates a narrative, and you travel through the planet and all. I think it's really really cool.
It was good, especially for the time when we didn't have anything like location based damage. If you hit someone in the head, it hit for the same amount that you hit them in the leg. We had
Hmm.
things like Soldier of Fortune and Red Faction that brought out was the very first in location based damage. Like if you had a shotgun in Soldier of Fortune, you busted someone in the stomach, they'd sit there and try to hold their insides in
Yeah.
and fall over as an animation. Or if you shot their leg out with the shotgun, at the knee, they would fall over and have to scoot themselves along the ground and still try to shoot you. But we didn't have that, so it was rough and it was game breaking at points, but it was the stuff that we look back on and remember. But you don't see that in games anymore.
Yeah, it's because it's still very costly for the CPU to do that kind of stuff. especially if we do it with really detailed graphics, and you know that they prioritize graphics all the time because it makes it easy to sell the games. I don't know what about I don't know about Battlefield 6 how it is with the destruction. I think it's pretty complex, but I haven't looked at it. Also, the finals has really good stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure Battlefield 6 is the only one in the space that's doing it red faction style because from what I've seen, you're able to take down very tall buildings in
Just,
surprising ways. And
yeah,
I'm there for that, but I'm still not trying to spend $80 on a game. I mean, yes, you're doing these great things, but I'm from the old school of $26, Atari games and Nintendo games. And sure, everybody likes to point out the rare $60 Super NES cartridge or whatever, and say, "See, they paid for $60 back in the day." Man, believe me, there was no way my father was gonna buy anything more than like $30 for a video game. But yours is free, so that's the beautiful thing here. But you got an awesome soundtrack.
hmm
You have 4 hours of listening for less than you would pay for an actual CD.
The funny thing about it is that originally it was about 3 hours, but I suggested to Roger here, I told him, mate, like, these songs are great, but you've got tracks that are like 11 and 17 minutes long. Maybe you should throw in some radio edit versions, just chop down versions that get to the meaty, the nitty gritty kind of riffy parts. And so he said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Great. It's pushed up to 4 hours now. A
yeah,
whole
just
hour of radio edits because these tracks are now 6 to 7 minutes, not 13 to 17 minutes. Like, okay, that's an
That's
improvement in a
awesome.
sense.
But, I definitely have to say, having played through about every bit of it as much as one can in all three of the difficulties, and let me tell you, hard mode is in fact hard. Normal mode is in fact hard.
mhm.
Easy has a little bit of spice, and that's kind of fun because my son picked it up and he's like, "Holy shit, man! This is easy mode." And he's 16 years old and he's crushing Hollow Knight and doing Silk Song and all this stuff. But I'm like, hey, let's go back to my roots. Why don't you play this? And he is like, but Dad, the graphics. I'm like, you play Minecraft? Stop it. He was trying to be all because he plays Fortnite competitively, you know. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna just love this. And once he got the hang of it, and he's like, Dad, there's no jump. Dad, there's no jump. I'm like, yeah. In a lot of games we had no jump. We didn't have jump in Doom. We didn't have. I don't think we had jump in original Doom. I don't think we
No,
had jump
No,
until Quake, if you're honest. Or did Doom 2 have jump?
no.
no,
Okay.
no jump for Doom 2 either.
Okay. So yeah, it was Quake when we got our jump, which invented rocket jumping and grenade hopping and all that other wonderful stuff. And one of my personal favorites from Fatality, the circle strafe, where your gun is pointed at the person and you're literally doing semicircles with your mouse and your gun never leaves the person and you can do a complete
Mhm.
circle. He used to cut people in half in Quake 2 tournaments with that.
Always a classic move. I still try to do it whenever I try, the old school shooter multiplayers online, but 9 times out of 10, it's usually me who gets completely whomped first.
So, are
Oh
you
well.
a keyboard and mouse guy or are you a controller guy?
Funnily enough, it's a mix of both. It just depends on which game. I grew up playing on consoles, and I still have a console controller. I still have that, but for certain games, for first person shooters, nowadays I'm well used to playing on keyboards. It took quite a few years to actually get the hang of it, but for now it feels for the most part second nature. But there are other kind of titles, usually non-first person shooter titles, where I look at the keyboard, I just kind of stare at it, thinking there is no way I can play this game. I need a controller.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But given the mechanics of it, which do you prefer?
It's
Because this is like, are you a Beatles man or are you an Elvis man kind of computer comparison? You know, because
I'm gonna yeah I'm gonna chicken out and say it just depends. It really just depends
wow,
on the game because with controllers, at least you have it's condensed and feels well, it feels good in the hands, and you'll be able to kind of move back or kind of lay down and play stuff, and you even have like portable kind of games, etc. With keyboards, more precise movement, more keys to do a lot
zero aim
different
assist.
stuff. That too, you don't need to rely on aim assist for important shots. So
Well,
depends.
when I came up, there were no controllers for no like controllers for PCs that you could do on your keyboard.
You had joysticks. You had
We had
joysticks.
joystick, yes, but if you were playing a first person shooter, you're not sitting there with a flight stick going, "I can do it." Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were people because my dad used to play Doom with a trackball.
Yeah.
So, he he was rough. But there were no, actual stick controllers to play things like Halo when Halo came out on a computer. You had, or the ones that did, the computer versions didn't recognize the controllers. So you had, and there was no crossplay. So, you couldn't say, well, I'm better on keyboard and mouse than your controller until God, it was Half-Life 2 when it came out. That was one of the first controller friendly things, and when you did Half-Life multiplayer or Counter-Strike as it was currently called or commonly called, you could then have your controller buddies over and whoop their ass by having, stronger response time on your mouse or your keyboard. But that was, that was a big thing. And I'm sure in your travels, Raj, you have, had similar stories. What's your go to when you play? Are you a controller guy or are you pounding out the WASD?
Oh, I'm definitely a keyboard and mouse guy. Yeah. I'll play with controller sometimes, but not always. Even games that might be better on controller, I can play them in on mouse and keyboard. I played Elden Ring on mouse and keyboard for 100 hours, so it was fine.
That hurts my knuckles to even think of because Elden Ring was a tough one. But that's one of those games that I will go to a controller for because to me it reminds me more of that Street Fighter brawling vibe, and I'll play things like Skyrim on a controller rather than a keyboard.
Skyrim is in first person. How can you play with a controller? Come on.
It's not in first person. You can change the camera to third.
No, it's in
Yes, you can.
first person. Come on.
I prefer playing in first person, but then again, I'm a fanboy for Oblivion and played
Hey,
it on
I've
in the
just
Xbox days.
finished the remaster of that, and that was well
Oh,
done. I enjoyed that. But like I said, a friend of mine pointed out, but there's so much that's not in the remaster, and I'm like, they're not going to get everything. It's like your favorite book going to a film. You're not going to get all those moments that you have in your head, shown to you on the screen. I mean, otherwise, Lord of the Rings, each one of those would have been 8 hours long. I would have been there for it, but
they they might end being 8 hours long because I think they're gonna make a longer one
how can they make a
now.
longer one? Because the extended one comes with a warning: plan your fluids. You know, it's like do not drink a drop before watching this. You'll
Someone
regret it.
recently said out that they're making a longer one.
Wow. I mean, okay, but
Just
um,
saying.
now let's look at, since, like I said, we're a week on, and the vibe is as strong, if not maybe even stronger than opening day, and just seems to be picking up. How is it for you guys? I mean, this whole week, has it been stressful? Has it been, like, have you been checking your feed like every 5 minutes? What's going on with this?
Yeah, I've been sleeping not a lot and checking feeds all the time, checking the forums all the time, checking Reddit. Um, Mostly just trying to reply to people because I've always replied to everyone and I intend to keep doing that. It just now it's a lot of people. I don't know when I stop with this obsession of mine, but I try to reply to everyone as well in on the Steam forums, and it's nonstop. So you know,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, I've been mixing that with fixing bugs. I've been trying to fix the worst bugs in the game, and I'm putting a patch out pretty much every day. So
So you're
that's what it
definitely
is.
staying busy.
I am busy. I'm stressed, but I'm also super happy. I mean, I don't under, I mean, I get it, but it's strange to be successful like that. I don't know. I feel like the numbers are very flattering, very flattering. You know.
Well, to be honest, it is a solid, solid game. I have tested everything from King's Quest One in the '80s on up to this, and there's just when I first got my hands on it and got those first steps out, and it was like, okay, the movement's good and the graphics are decent. It's right in line with my expectations, but didn't expect really to get, you know, caught up in it, and I just was like, okay, I'm going to test this game. It's going to be, but it grabbed me by the nose and kicked me in the ass. How about you, Jake? How has your week been?
Ever since Darkenstein dropped, it's just been really great to see. It's put a big smile on my face, seeing so many people, a lot of small channels and small streamers especially giving Darkenstein a whirl, and I really do kind of feel very grateful to know that so many people are willing to give it a try and just start sharing it to all the friends and doing proper playthroughs, things like that. Um, I'm I've been checking out a lot of the feedback, looking at the positive feedback, negative feedback, and seeing some fair points being made on both sides, but also seeing some people who are like, "Oh, this thing sucks. I will not explain why."
Yeah, I
Thanks.
love a person that has a complaint but no solution.
Yeah, I mean, both me and Roger have kind of joked around a bit with some of the some comments, but we've both been really blown away
What's the
by
most
so much praise.
surprising complaint? The thing that just like, really, that's the hill you're dying on?
I mean, we're
Actually,
just
I got one, but sorry, you go
yeah.
ahead, Roger. You go ahead.
I'm probably gonna say the same one, which is that someone said that the intro narration was AI voiceover. That was just
That
today.
wasn't.
Oh
That was
God.
me. I thought you were
Yeah, I'm
cheeky
like,
git.
wow, that's rough. But hey, look, you're
Yeah,
taking work away from AI, so that's a win. That's a
It's
win.
just honestly just people that want to complain. They're gonna try to find anything. It's I don't know. I feel like there's one of the skills that I'm trying to get is knowing how to parse the reviews and the feedback and understand what comes from a good place and what doesn't. And if it doesn't, I just don't care about it because there's so many people that are having fun with the game that like what does it matter if someone is trying to get over someone else just because they had a bad day or just because they have sadness in their hearts.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Dude. It's a good time for me, so I don't care.
Was that the one you were going to bring up? The same one?
it was. It actually was. That was the weirdest feedback that we've gotten so far. But generally speaking, I mean, I've seen some people who might have said like, "Oh, the humor doesn't work for me, the writing doesn't work for me, the
Well,
voice
then
acting
they
just
never
doesn't work for
played
me."
Duke Nukem, Rise of the Triad,
Right, but
or
I
Shadow
mean,
Warrior, or any of those. This isn't for them.
people,
Yeah,
This is for the people that,
right?
that came through the 8, 16, 64-bit, generations of first-person shooters. This is a celebration of that. And if the new generation gets it and jumps on, is vibed by it, and lifted up by it by any way, that's a good thing. But at the heart of it, it's for us boomers. It's, I mean, let's call it what it
and
is. It
and to
is
be
the
honest, it's
best love note to early Apogee, early id software, early 3D realms that one could put into a single package, because it has the humor of Shadow Warrior, it has the maps of Wolfenstein and Return to Castle Wolfenstein. It has the quirky weapons that they had in Duke Nukem. So it has all these things. It's like a Katamari Damacy thing where it just kind of soaked up all the best parts of the best things of the shareware era of the 90s.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And just let me say this: I'm totally fine with negative reviews. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying there are certain people that are just trying to go and hurt someone else. That's one thing. What you were saying about people not getting into the writing or into the characters, or that's absolutely fine and very fair.
Yeah,
I mean, it
Oh,
doesn't have to be
yeah.
for
absolutely.
everyone.
Sure, but
If
the
y-
go ahead, Jake.
yeah, sure. I was going to say that some people are not going to kind of vibe with these certain elements, and that's
Yeah,
fine. I understand that. I completely understand that. Not every game is going to appease everyone. The majority of people, though, have said positive things about each of these aspects and others, and I think that's what's kind of helped both me and Roger here just kind of feel glad to know that we're on a good place here with Darkenstein with its current build. Warts and all, even with some of the issues that people have brought up. For the most part, the mass majority of people are happy with what has been delivered, and that's great. If there are any people out there who have genuine criticism or feedback, please do share it. We really do want to actually hear it. Just make sure that this information is kind of
Be nice
something that we
about
can
it.
take. Yeah, it's something we can take and actually do something about. Not this guy sucks.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
not that's not,
Okay,
absolutely.
there's
well
nowhere
that's
to
that.
jump in. There's nowhere to jump in after this guy sucks. That is a total, there's nothing you come back from that. There's like, well, how do I improve on not sucking? You don't,
Yeah,
you just say this guy sucks, end of, and post it, rather than I thought this part could be better. The voice was a little too campy here, or but at the heart of it, the voices are supposed to be campy. The stoner was, I mean, one of the best examples of stretching the camp out for that, and she was
Literally.
marvelous. She was marvelous. I
yeah,
can't say enough about
yeah.
that. And I'm
That's
not going to
she was
spoil
voiced.
her involvement in the last bits of the thing, but you'll get some really really good lines from her later in the thing, that her dialogue was awesome. I hate to say, I'm also a stoner. I'm usually taking big bong rips while I'm playing video games and stuff, but I kind of wanted to keep my mind a little centered more today, because it's
Wise.
legal here in the wonderful state of Virginia. So
Yeah, fair enough. It's funny because I mean, the character voiced by good friend of mine called Gray Gallagher, uh, absolutely knocked it out the park with the performance. Um, with the character itself, I remember going through the script and like going through the game and coming across Martina as the character's called, and kind of scratching my head, going, "What's this character doing here?" Like, okay, is it to appease the to appease the dope crowd? Because I don't smoke the stuff. I'm not. I'm straight edge, so no
it's
drink,
bad
no
for your
drugs,
voice.
no
I
that
mean,
too. Bad for the voice, bad for the brain, and I mean, sure, I don't get invited to parties or have friends, but hey ho, that's the price to pay.
it's all
But
right. I do your share. It's
thank you.
fine.
But it was fun to be able to take that kind of character who very much feels like she doesn't realize it. She is very much a fish out of water. She is not supposed to be in this kind of dark, gritty world. She's in her own little happy kind of own world, but she's so helpful and kind of completely trusting and supportive of the hobo guy who, originally we kind of wrote him so that he's like, I don't know if I trust this lady, but gradually he
Wow, he
does kind of
just went
put
into I don't
faith
trust
and
this
trust.
lady. He just dropped right in.
It,
It was
it
that
just
was
happens.
funny.
It just happens sometimes. But yeah, but over time, of course, there's a bit more development with the hobo guy. We kind of does open up trust and
I
putting a trust and
personally
faith
would
in
love
her.
to see some backstory in another. If there's ever more Darkenstein releases beyond Darkenstein 3, and that's not a title suggestion. Beyond would be a little derivative of the new a Wolfenstein thing if you did your second one as Beyond as well. But I would love to see how she got there, or some kind of a write up of how she ended up with a stoner with time travel equipment that got her to the 40s wearing a Steal Your Face Grateful Dead shirt, which I was incredibly impressed you actually were able to digitize a real Grateful Dead shirt on that. That was peak because you kept it in the same, style of the graphics, but you could tell it's an actual Grateful Dead shirt with the tie dye and all that.
I've been around. I know the Grateful Dead, man.
I I I get that, but the whole point is you actually got it in the game. There's some people that
Hmm.
are getting those are like purchasing the models and stuff on, and they're not doing much with it. You're actually doing the work and putting these nice little Easter eggs in, like all the Nazi propaganda posters that if you
Hmm.
sit there and look at them, they have some funny bits. Or if you read all the letters that are posted up around the game, that should be an achievement. Read everything. It could be like well read or something. But
Probably.
those have been part of the funniest thing because I had to stop in a stream because one of them made me laugh so hard. I think it was level 9 or 10, and they were talking about how some of the dogs were going nuts, and I don't know. It was just it made my entire chat go nuts and go crazy because I was wiping my eyes from crying laughing, and every time the hobo would introduce himself as BJ Stanky Stinky Pants or some other derivative variation of it, it was always something different, and that needs to stay. I want to see that stay if the hobo guy ends up in another game, whether it's Darkenstein or he ends up time traveling with Martina and ends up in the present day or something. It would be nice to see him introduce himself, and kind of do that because that was one of my favorite little dialogue bits where he was trying to sass off at this dying German guard or whatever, or dying soldier, and he's like, "Well, aren't you just gonna die?" or something like that. But it was just the humor, everything was good, and your delivery of Hobo Guy stuff kept that game fresh. Is there something that you ended up putting in that was kind of like a your line that was something completely you
And
that
there's
that
plenty.
came out, Jake?
Honestly, like a lot of the dialogue, I know Roger, of course, he wrote down some ideas for contextual kind of lines. But I threw in some ideas as well for certain moments where I just write a note and say, what if he says this at this moment? That being said, though, that being said, though, I mean, I think there's a lot of moments that I went through Roger's kind of original writing, and then I made a few of my own little tweaks. Um, for example, I mean, one of my favorites is, of course, as you said, the kind of the constant name changing thing, which I thought was such a hilarious joke that I wanted to kind of keep contributing to it and kind of play into like
Was that already written in where he would just kind of, it would just be a riff of Blaskowitz's name?
yeah, yeah, that was already written in, but I
Okay.
as levels went on, I kind of made a few tweaks there, and the delivery too. Like one of my favorite lines is when you meet an American soldier, like, "Who the hell are you? How do you get here?" And hobo guy's really snarky and sarcastic, and he just goes, "I'm CJ Cranky-Witz. Who cares?"
Yeah.
It's
I
just
was honestly surprised it didn't come up when, and, I hate to put a semi spoiler. I need to have like the Taliesin and Evitel little red spoiler warning kind of thing that pops up. But when you're talking to Hitler, he doesn't ask you your name or anything, and you don't get the opportunity to throw another one out that late in the game.
I
I
think
was
we kind of underused it at the end. I think we should have taken more chances there.
Yeah,
We had
I thought
opportunities
that
and we didn't use
was
it.
comedy gold, and because my friend Dave, who's my first mod on here, he was in the playtest as well, and he's absolutely a fanboy, and he's sitting here watching the whole thing, banning people from the chat that are going, "Do you need more viewers?" I'm like, "No, I don't. Thank you." Um, but when that first came up, he was going nuts in the chat, going, dude, he's fucking riffing on Blaskowitz. It's awesome. The circle is complete. Shit like that. And like I said, I am a huge fanboy of these games, and I wish I could do half of what you guys do. But for now, I'll just be content on breaking things for you and making more work for you as I see fit. What is the next stage? Because, like I said, we're a week out and things are still on the uptick. What is in the future for Team Rowye, and what is in the future for the likes of Jake the Voice?
So we don't know. I mean, I don't really know what's in the future right now. Um, I'm very in the moment brain. I cannot think too long in the future. Right now, I'm just trying to get accustomed to the new situation, which is I'm a lot more busy than I used to be. And there's still a couple that really bad bugs that are in the game that I'm gonna try to fix in the next couple of days. And when we are a bit more safe in the way of bugs and stuff like that, I'm gonna start thinking about what do we do next. Maybe I'm gonna start thinking about 1.1 kind of thing where I adjust a few things of the gameplay. Maybe I add a couple of things to the RAD. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I'll do a little update that's a bit more than bug fixing. Just I keep watching streamers and taking notes, and I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that.
Well, that's good. It's one of those things that I love the most is you when I would break something and I would type something out to you in Discord, within 48 hours you're either on it, fixed it, or yeah, it's going to be in the next patch. It was that immediate where
Hmm.
if I had a problem, it was like, all right, this the doors aren't opening for whatever, or they're only opening like halfway for whatever reason. I think that was one of the bugs. I'm not sure. There was a door that wasn't opening all the way in one of the maps at one point, but
Mm.
and Dave ran into the walls opening up so you could walk right off the map. That was always fun. But the fact that you're a small developer and you're addressing these things, even in late playtest and crunch time for the week before release, you were assholes and elbows, jumping in and doing stuff.
It's not super hard. The thing is, some things are very easy to fix that are very bothersome to the players, and some things that are little details that a few people may complain about. It's really a lot of work because of the way things are done, and obviously from the perspective of the player, they don't know what the deal is. But usually when I'm watching you or anyone else play, I have the editor on, and the map open, and I'm just
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just going right away.
That's cool because I put a little bit of time into streaming it. I did a lot of play off stream, but I wanted to do a contiguous, playthrough on stream so that people could see the different levels and see it in its state there, warts and all. And if they saw something that I didn't, chat would point it out. And it was nice having you there for those times. And,
Hmm.
next time when I'm doing stuff with a new release and Jake, you're part of it too, please come in. You're more than welcome to come in and tell me how badly I'm playing this game because I am by no means Fatality or Ninja or any of them guys. I love to play. I do not play well. I put it out there and I enjoy hanging out. It's like when we were in our 20s or whatever and you'd have your friends over and you'd pass the controller on the couch. That's what my stream is. We're all hanging out and we're playing games and stuff. It's that vibe where we're on the couch and we're just kind of chilling and watching. It doesn't matter if I'm winning the game or if I'm beating my head against the same boss for 20, 30 minutes. Pyramid, pyramid. Yeah. But I cheesed the pyramid. I cheated really hard without cheat codes and cheesed the pyramid to the
You
point where you
just
had to
go.
change the entire encounter because I cheesed it so hard.
That was useful. That's what testing is for.
But I'm always going to default when I see okay, you go to X, Y, and Z. I'm over there in MNO territory going, I'm doing that instead and see what I can do.
Mm.
And usually it will bring forth a game breaking thing. If you go against the grain in a game,
Yeah, because
it,
that's
it
the
will
things that I
do.
don't do.
I mean, example in Fortnite, before there was zero build, I would play builds, but I would never build. So the skill based matchmaking thought I was a window licker and would put me in these easy lobbies because I never built a single ramp. It thought, well, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So always breaking the games, no matter whether it's a live service game or whether it's a single player like Darkenstein. What can we see Jake in the future that's coming up that you can talk about or release?
I do actually have something I can confirm. I mean, yeah, I mean, I try and get myself involved in whatever projects that will take me, of course, but such is the life of a voice actor. But nevertheless, there is one game that I actually two. Um, One game that's coming out, which is going to be a big one. That's finally the release of Time Splitters Rewind. If all goes well,
Ooh.
that comes out next month. If
Ooh.
all goes well, touch wood, fingers crossed. Um, a whole bunch of characters that are voiced in that, and I did the writing as well, and
Ooh.
casting directing for that too. So there's going to be a lot of crazy characters that you'll be able to unlock in this kind of, you could say, all stars remake of elements
Ooh.
of the first, second, and third Time Splitters games, which I
That's a
love and
franchise
have
my
loved
wife
since.
absolutely loves. So
You have a
that's
great
going to
wife.
be.
She has great taste. She has great taste, clearly.
Yeah, she's a gamer. Right now she doesn't have much time to do gaming, so all the systems are taken up by the kids and me and my evil streaming habit. So, and it's gonna even get worse because then it's gonna be now I have to edit things because I'm gonna be taking this to a YouTube, setting where we're gonna be doing this and I'm gonna record this much like we're doing now. But it's right now it's just going out live to the Kick channel, and if I want, I can re-download the VOD and chop it up and do stuff. But when I launch the YouTube channel, I would really love to have you guys back, and so we can do something a little more structured. This has just been kind of this is my payment for doing the tests for me. This is my reward at the end of the slog. Being able to sit down and have you guys share, kind of a little peek behind the curtain at what makes it special and what, because like I said, Dave's in the chat here saying, well, we love the game, and we do. We do. This has been something that I felt, even though I'm just a tiny tester, I, had agency in this game, and the character that you created, the hobo, and having that deep southern accent and that, no fucks given attitude just made, I'm not looking to be seen in a game, but that if it doesn't get any closer than that. I mean, you got the beard and the gray hair and the, it's just really cool. It's just really cool, and I'm glad that I could have you guys here for that. And I want you guys to do more games so I'd have more excuses to have you on again.
Yeah,
And
there's definitely going to be more. You don't have to worry about that.
good,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, I hope this lights a huge fire so that you're like, okay, now we're gonna have to do more Darkenstein, and now we're gonna have to do that multiplayer co-op or
No,
survival
yes,
kind
yeah.
of thing. You know, come on, you want capture the flag hobos.
No multiplayer,
Dark,
no co-op. Not
Darkenstein
happening.
2D. That's an idea I've
Hey,
jokingly
I'm
prodded
actually
Roger
no.
about.
There actually was a Wolfenstein before 3D in the
That's true.
Apple,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, definitely.
and id bought it for less than $500. They paid for the rights to that. I had that on the Apple IIc, and it was literally a guy, and he was once it was like you couldn't his arm wouldn't articulate, so it would go like this. But you would actually kill guards and put on the uniform and sneak past and do stuff. But it was a 2D map, kind of like Robotron.
It's like a Metal Gear kind of game.
Oh, it was Metal Gear before Metal Gear. Because
Well, Metal
I
Gear
think
was
it was
Yeah,
like
on the MSX.
1984, 1985,
Yeah,
and
it's definitely Metal Gear was started on the MSX. So it's a really old game.
yeah, but you can look up footage of original and Beyond Castle Wolfenstein on
No, definitely
on
check that.
Google, and it will make your brain melt. It's that bad. It was old CGA. It wasn't even VGA. This was
Mhm.
when things came up, like it was a in between level briefing. You could see the letters forming as it. I mean, old computing.
Yeah,
But yeah, there just like I said, there is a Wolfenstein 2D. It's just hard on the eyes, but the features, if they had where you could take the uniform and sneak past in uh in 3D or even return to Castle Wolfenstein, that would have been awesome as hell. Because that's how you would get into locked areas. Is you'd have the SS uniform and you'd or the brown coat uniform, and you'd get into certain areas. With the SS uniform, you get into other areas.
there is a bit of that on Return to Castle Wolfenstein. You can approach people from the back and knife them,
Yes,
but there's a bit of that
same
on
with
the old Blood as well, which is
same with the
not
Medal
very
of Honor
not very
series
well
too.
done. Yeah,
but the idea of disguising yourself too
that's cool. Yeah,
would be kind of a neat uh, mechanic, because you could that would make it kind of more Hitman esque.
yeah.
Because
There's definitely Medal of Honor um, maps that are like that.
wow, Medal of
Couple at least.
Honor, that takes me back. Those were superior games.
They were awesome on the
Classics.
PlayStation. That's probably one of the first person shooters I actually didn't get sick with. Yeah, because there was Forsaken and some of those that were really
Oh,
bad.
Forsaken was awful.
Yeah,
As far as the motion sickness inducing, like
it was
Descent
horrible.
was the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have you played any of the VR titles?
No, I
Because
never played VR.
um, I had a chance to play War Thunder in VR. It's a free to play airplane game that starts
Okay.
off in like World War II planes and goes up to the modern A-10 tank killer jets and things. But you actually get to sit in the cockpit and you look around and you're looking at a fully redone cockpit. And
Okay.
if you get shot out of the air and you're in a spin, for me, in VR, I had to close my eyes and
Oh,
wait till I heard the crash because you're not really spinning, but your brain doesn't know that.
yeah.
And it's filling in the data by saying, "Here, we're going to give you vertigo right now," because it thinks that you're spinning. And yeah, VR for the likes of you might not be where you need to be because things like turning real fast, you might fall over because it's that intense. But I wouldn't
I've
mind
seen
seeing, you know.
I've seen a couple of people play Darkenstein on VR. Currently, there are some sort of injectors.
Yeah, you
There's
can
a
do that.
software that you could, because it's made in Unity, so that thing works with any Unity game.
Mm.
So I actually just changed all the backgrounds of the maps that have no sky, made them gray because I saw that people were playing on VR, and in VR you can get all the map.
Oh wow,
You
that's
can pretty
crazy.
much, yeah.
I would love to. Like I said, I'm gonna have to find some of the streamers that are doing this in VR. But I mean, I have an old HTC Vive that I need to maybe bring back out. But you know, VR is a whole other thing. I honestly didn't think that Darkenstein would be very conducive to that, but I really
People
want to see.
play these same people play Quake 3 and stuff like that, which is
Mm.
crazy to me.
I can see, but I can actually see more of a component for VR for like Quake 3 and
Oh,
Quake
okay.
2 even because of its built-in competitive nature because Quake 3 was Quake 3 Arena here in
Hmm.
the US
Yeah, yeah.
because it was trying to compete with Unreal Tournament. It's like, well, we can do it and we can do it better. And in many ways
Hmm.
they kind of did. But Unreal Tournament had run with the football so far so long that it just kind of ate the entire competitive space and like things like QuakeCon and the tournaments for Quake, you know, kind of went away in in a way because they brought Unreal Tournament to the fore in the early 2000s,
Hmm.
and you didn't see Quake Champions or anything like that until I think it was 2016, almost 2017 when Fortnite killed Unreal Tournament because they took and I've spoken with people from Epic and they said this is a fact that we were going to release Unreal Tournament 2016 after the alpha ended in 2017, but the crunch for Fortnite became so intense they took the entire team from Unreal Tournament and just speed loaded it into the Fortnite team to build the BR on the fly because it was just going to be Save the World. It was just going to be the Save the World mode, and they were going to add a multiplayer, you know, BR on it. But the BR actually overtook Save the World, and it became its own little redhead stepchild. But
Hmm.
it killed the greatest Unreal Tournament title.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was the greatest. It was very unfinished. It was. I mean, I was playing it
I was
when they
too.
killed it,
I
so
was
that was
playing it
not
every
fun.
weekend. My buddy actually had run a Unreal server from 1999 all the way up to when they were doing that. But every time there was a new edition, like Unreal Tournament 2004, he would change the server up to serve that edition. But you know, and he was mad because he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this new thing. We're gonna get this new thing." He's like, "I got the server already." Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that's pretty
now he
rough.
plays Fortnite. So
Because also they had people from the community work on it, and then they just pulled the plug on them. So that was not very nice.
yeah, it wasn't. But the fun thing I find is like chapter three. One of the seasons we had this Neo Tokyo City, and you go in the buildings and they have this all this artwork on the walls, and it's all art from Unreal Tournament. Like they have
Hmm.
this the faraway version of Facing Worlds, like you can see
Okay.
both of the towers, and I'm like, that's an Easter egg. But it's also like a slap in the face for all of us that really still want to have Unreal Tournament. But to see
Yeah.
things like the teleport disc become a an item in battle royale for Fortnite is kind of cool because you see that game peeking out at you. Because it's like you don't throw the disc, but you fire this little magical ball out of this mask, and it does the same thing. It teleports you to where that ball landed. So you're kind of seeing the bones of an old house after you've rebuilt it from the you can still see the foundation of the old house, but you got this new mansion on it. But you can still see where you came from on it.
Hmm. Yeah,
What I
it's
want
sad
to
though.
go ahead.
No, I
I'm
was just gonna say it's sad.
it
I
is.
wanted my Unreal tournament to continue. It was good. It was a couple of maps that were finished that were very good,
Yes.
but mm,
It was very playable. That's I mean, I like to put it at that. It wasn't ready, but it was very playable. If you liked the core bones of Unreal Tournament, you were a capture the flag maniac, or you were heavy into your custom mutators for the games, and that's really what took Unreal Tournament beyond the likes of Quake, because when you made a server, you could do anything. You could have quad jump, you could have snipers only, all kinds of these hard mechanics that you could throw in that were either challenging. And they also had the AI uh, bots that you could throw in if you didn't have enough people that you could populate your map. And you could turn them on learns from its mistakes, like the highest thing, and you just get owned by these super bots.
oh yeah,
You didn't have that in Quake.
yeah, you did.
Well, it
You,
wasn't they. You
you have
couldn't
bots.
you couldn't adjust the difficulty of the bots in Quake.
No, no,
No, they were just
yeah,
window lickers. You could
yeah, yeah.
you could if you weren't getting enough, pushback from the bots, you could go, "Oh, give me more, daddy." And they always had another thing. They could go another level and, kick your ass another way. But Jake, not to leave you out, from your gaming history, and I'm going to ask Raj the same thing. From your gaming history, what is your all-time favorite go-to secret pleasure game?
Ooh, I've got quite a few.
All right,
It'd
we'll
be
do top
easy to
three.
say. Oh God, that's even. It's not that easier to be honest. But okay, well, I'm going to say, and I wish I could fit more in, but hey ho. First ones that pop into my head: Doom, especially on the PlayStation. That being huge, hugely important game in my life. Being probably the first game I was actually brave enough to actually try as a kid, playing that on the PlayStation.
How old were you
Such a
when
fan.
that came out?
Oh God. I think the PlayStation version came out in 1995. I think so. At that point, I was one, so I couldn't have played it. But I think I first properly picked up the controller and tried it. I think I was either 5 or 6. I had to ask people to put the cheats in for me because I was little. I just wanted to get the rocket launcher and blow everyone to bits.
There's
Um,
nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't feel bad
yeah,
about that in the least.
yeah. It was
Okay,
one
that's
day when I
one.
well, one day when I didn't have anyone to put the cheats in, I played it legitimately and realized, hey, I can actually do this, and that's where I went. But yes, that's game number one. Number two, it's going to be Time Splitters Future Perfect, the third entry in the series. Um, as the most content, it has so many goofy, hilarious characters. It has a fully fleshed out story mode with just like rib tickling dialogue and moments that have influenced me and my sense of humor as well. I mean, the whole thing has. It's such a goofy, crazy kind of amalgamation of really creative ideas and so much fun, especially in multiplayer. So much fun. So that's number two.
Okay.
Number three, I'm going to throw in, I'm going to say Blood.
Ooh,
So
a
1998.
very, very well informed choice. Blood is one of my all time favorites.
Yeah.
I
So
just picked up,
Blood.
I think it's a fresh supply to play back through, and that
Yeah, and
was so good.
refreshed supply coming soon as well.
That's supposed to be a
Which is
huge graphic overhaul from what I've seen.
well, there's a few tweaks here and there, a few upgrades here and there. Not if you bag it, I think it's if you own fresh supply, you can get this version for 66% off.
Oh,
But otherwise, a few extra bells and whistles here. Nothing too revolutionary, but hey, if it means getting people playing the game again and on multiplayer again, great. But yeah, Blood was that was a game I found first on YouTube watching Let's Plays of an old fella who
oh
used to
yeah.
play through the game, and then I eventually got the game, and
Blood was
ball-breakingly
amazing.
hard, but yeah,
That was the first
fantastic.
thing that I was able to play where you caught people on fire and they were it burns, and run around. And when I got the flamethrower in Darkenstein, I literally had those hooded dudes, in Blood in my head when I was lighting Nazis on fire, waiting for someone to go, it burns, you know. But those little moments from those games, like you said, time splitters of friggin' solid series that there I've never seen anybody go, man, that there's just no use for this game. There's always something for somebody in time splitters. That's one of the reasons that Jen liked it so much. And
Yeah.
she should be coming home from. If you see somebody wander past, it's my wife and daughter coming home from work. But yeah, we have a whole house full of gamers. The only people that don't game are the cats.
They'll
It's,
learn.
well, no, you can't even put them on the little cat games on the tablets. They look at it and go, nah, fuck this noise. If it doesn't have catnip, they don't care. Or if it
Oh,
doesn't
that
have
explains a
meat or
lot.
something, because the savannas they have a semi raw meat diet, which is nice.
Right.
And good and bad, because they want to go after your meat on the plate too. And they're like, are you gonna finish this? And they put their hand right in your burger or something. Like, not now. But Raj, your top three?
There was the question was my three favorite games or my
Yeah.
comfort food games.
Yes.
Both combined.
Yeah, that's the deal, man. That's the
It's
deal. I'm even gonna answer two, so don't feel too pressured.
uh, it's even three is hard. I'll definitely say Return to Castle Wolfenstein, one of the first. That's a game I played a lot of times. Half Life I played so many times, just the
Ooh.
same. And the ones that I actually play the most, the one that I played the most the last couple of months is actually Unreal Tournament 1999. I play that often and off. Yeah, and Quake 3 I play often and off. You could put them together actually.
Okay, that I'll
I'll just,
allow it.
I'll just,
I'll allow it
yeah,
because
I'll
they
just
they
fire
really
that.
were kind of the same DNA, the same stuff.
I think they're kind of, to me, they are the same game, each with their own strong parts. And I don't even see the weaknesses. I just go for the strong parts because I feel like both have so much good in them. I feel like the physics of Quake 3 are better, but as a whole game, I think Unreal Tournament is better. It has the mutators, it has the configurable bots, has more
The better
options in general.
editor. Um,
I don't know about that because I was making Quake maps, so I would disagree maybe. I don't know.
I made a couple of shitty, Unreal Tournament maps with the editor. So for the likes of me, who has the artistic ability to fuck up Hangman, so you know, if I can get through it and have a map that's fun at a LAN party, then it's doing something. I couldn't get heads or tails from the Quake editor. But I loved that they started the whole mod community because they released Quake. They didn't have like a story or anything. It's just here's 3 adventures. You just go on. There's no lore. If you don't like that, here's the editor. Make your own shit. Here it is. And
One more level. Go on, let's throw a bit of
yeah,
that in.
I've done that
I should
too.
exercise, but Darkenstein's great for that. It's brilliantly structured and condensed down with each levels. that you want to take. If you want to go for the heftier levels, jump into that in challenge mode. If you want to go for the smaller stuff, jump into those in challenge mode. It's great amount of a variety with all of that on offer there.
That is, shoot. I got distracted honestly because we had a chatter come on and she says, "I think I'm in love with Jake. He's such a cutie." So and that's just one of my
stop.
Oh yeah, but she's one of my longtime subs. She's been with me since the old Facebook days, and she too is in England.
Oh really?
Yes,
All right.
I'm worldwide, man.
Classy. You got a big audience out there.
I wish, but I had about 5,000 people on Facebook, but when I moved over to Kick, it didn't really go. But Facebook wasn't paying me, so it was either don't get paid, or Jesus Christ, my phone. That person really wants to talk to me. Yeah, screw them. They can just listen to the interview in the background. Fuck them. Otherwise it's just gonna keep ringing. But
tell him to play Darkenstein first, and then by the time he's done with a couple of levels, then stream will be over, and then you'll be able to talk.
That's true, but it's a real credit to your game, because when you go back and hear about the stories of how Trent Reznor ended up working with id Software, quite frankly, Doom 2 almost delayed one of his albums because they were playing it so much in the studio, and they were at some kind of event, and he got to shake John Carmack and John Romero's hand, and he's like, your game almost didn't make this album possible. And he goes, well, why don't you come in and lay down some tracks? We got this new game we're going to be doing called Quake. And he's like, fine business. And, but there's all kinds of stories of people that have missed out on something or haven't done what they were supposed to be doing because they were caught up playing a game like Doom 2 or Quake, or in Henry Cavill's case, World of Warcraft. He almost missed Superman because he was raiding with his guild and he didn't answer the phone at first.
Priorities.
So yeah, but still, that's one reason I will always love Henry Cavill. Because
speaking of Quake, actually, Quake's soundtrack especially was a big inspiration for the dark ambient tracks I made, and the 2 tracks that made it onto Darkenstein 3D as well. Because I sent to you, Roger. I sent to you some of my stuff, didn't I? I don't know if you skimmed through tracks or you actually gave a proper listen. But
no, I definitely listened to it.
He's one of the few people who has.
I had to choose tracks, so I have to listen to them.
It's true. He's not just going to rubber stamp and go, well, the title looks okay. Sure. Let's just throw it on there. See what happens. What's the worst that could happen? But
he picked out 2, one from 2 different albums, my first and second album, and it was actually quite close to the release of the game where I kind of chimed in and said, hey, can I just quickly remix these tracks? And he was like, you sure? They sound fine to me. Like, one of the tracks is in the lab, and one of the tracks going into the big cannon later on in the game where you meet a certain person. No spoilers. So those two tracks, they're on the soundtrack release as well. But I thought I want to give them a new twist. If they're going to appear on the soundtrack and people are going to pay money for them, I put my albums out for free because nobody really listens to them. Only cool people listen to them. So I just make them free for everyone, free to use in your games. But I thought, let's add a bit of a twist to them. Let's add some more kind of layers. Let's add some more kind of bass and more kind of distortion. Weave those in subtly in the background to give a slight twist to the otherwise album mixes. And it was pretty great to hear them in game. Because a lot of those dark ambient tracks I made, especially the early albums, were very much made at a time when I was in a really bad place mentally. I was trapped in an abusive relationship, and everything was just like to hell for me. But to have these games have a new context for me, where I listen to it and I think, ah, yes, the labs, the track that appears in the labs, and oh yes, that's the big build up when you're gonna go to that inside the cannon and meet some a bad person, stuff like that. Um,
He's trying
it
real
it
hard
really
not
does
to
get
spoiler.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know it
he's
really
like,
does.
ah! The struggle is
But
real.
it does make me excited that with whatever kind of future ideas that we have it down the pipeline um, for Darkenstein, I would absolutely jump at the opportunity to make some more tracks and throw them in like for for the project or for future
So
DLCs or
you're
whatever.
committing early to a new hobo game, is what I'm hearing over here.
Well, new
Is
game or new
expanded.
DLCs and
Yeah.
anything like that. We have
Let's keep
actually
the
me and
hobo
Roger
alive. Hobo lives matter.
we've tossed around ideas. We've had ideas, and we've thrown around some thoughts. I suggested like, oh, what if hey babe to you too.
No.
Uh,
He heard that.
sorry, couldn't resist.
No, no, no. Listen,
I see.
Jake said, "Hey, babe, to you too." Jake, Raj, everybody. This is my wife Jen
Hello,
Yeah.
and her beer.
important stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we've shot ideas before to each other. Like one idea I pitched to Roger, I said, "What if we do like a time jump where Hobo Guy goes through one of Martina's kind of time travel portals,
I
ends up in
endorse
the
that.
future,
Um,
and kind of do like the 1960s sort of Red Scare with
hmm.
like have a play on sci-fi movies with watch out for the evil communist spies. I was kind of like pushing that idea a
I
little
think
bit.
that
Thinking,
would
what
be
if
nice because that would be the Cold War era,
you
and
fight
you could,
communists, so
yeah.
maybe fight Stalin or something like that. But Roger's like, I don't know. I still want to flesh out more of the world we've got so far with you know
Well, that's the thing about
fighting
time
evil
travel. You can add it
Nazis.
to the second, third, fourth, or fifth Darkenstein that comes out because
That's yeah. It's
you know
usually a good thing about it. You can do pretty much anything.
time travel can come at
So
any time because
yeah,
it's like, when do we want time travel? It's irrelevant. Um,
it's not like the story makes a lot of sense anyway. So you
Yeah,
don't really,
true.
I I'm not gonna give it away, but I did particularly love the ending. I'm just saying it's one of those things that when I finally got to it and had that Sundance Kid moment that just kind of just kind of gets you right at the end.
I think that because I know that me and Roger, when we were discussing about the ending, we were chatting about that and thinking how are we going to end this, and I thought of the idea of making it so that they Hobo Guy and Gunter kind of goes through a portal and is like, what do you think, boy? You ready for one more adventure? And then they kind of go through that in a dramatic, kind of cool way, a heartwarming way. But Roger wanted to take things in a different direction, and I honestly think it was so great of him that he did that with a much kookier, goofier ending that still kind of has a little bit of a cliffhanger element
It
to
was
it.
much
Uh,
like the Monty Python Holy Grail ending where they all got arrested.
it's very
Like in real
goofy,
life
tongue
where
in
they're
cheek
like
way.
getting locked up. That
Yeah,
was when we had, like I said, not gonna spoil it, not gonna spoil it. Um, but the ending was so out of what I was expecting that it was like, oh, okay. It was very much like that, to where it was almost a Deadpool breaking the fourth wall kind of thing, which he does. The hobo does the entire game. He talks to himself and talks to you, and the thing from the playtest to the real playthrough that I found most gratifying was the cutscenes had dialogue. Cutscenes in the playthrough for like when Gunter was in the cage getting raised up, that whole dialogue, I was sitting there like, oh, there's nothing being said here. But again, it was playthrough and it was for, It was for ironing out the bugs. But every time I got to that point, I was like, man, I'm gonna feel really vindicated when I finally get to hear this dialogue. And I was.
Yeah, that cutscene is pretty new actually. It was never planned to be there until like 3 or 4 months ago. I just,
It,
I keep trying to make the start of the game better because I feel like the end of the game is better, and I want people to get to the end. So I'm trying to hook them up somehow. Make them
well,
play
it
it.
really was a good place in the map rotation to put a cutscene, to put an exposition dump where you've been going through 3 or 4 maps and you've now kind of gotten your hand on, okay, this is what's going on. Let's get to the real meat of the story, and that delivered. That was a really good place to put it. If you had it, reminding you every single step of the way, it would be a little bad. But to have it at those little cutscenes spread sporadically out were at good spots where you were already kind of combat fatigued and you were, gonna go upstairs and get your hot pocket or grab another soda or whatever, and you've got all this exposition that's going to be laid out. You have that little break from your hands and doing stuff. And
Yeah,
storytelling wise, that was an excellent placement because you were not just, okay, do 7 levels, here's a movie for you to enjoy for like 30 seconds and then move the hell on. This is like 3 or 4 levels, you got this, and then you got another couple levels and you get another little nugget, or you get something out of some of the post-its on the wall that would tell you, hey, the animals are going crazy because of the demons and things that we've or the aliens or whatever that we've you know opened up after we've opened up this section of the mine or whatnot. And it just kind of it carries the story as much as Jake's narration and his hobo guy talking through a lot of it. um every time I go up to my door now when I come in from going, I'm like, locked, or I can't get in that way, or
Need a blue key. Need
yeah.
a red key.
One tiny little pick that I'm gonna have about the blue key and the red key thing. You have the key and you haven't used it, and you walk up to it and it goes, I need the blue key, and you've got the blue key. I'm like,
that's because you're going to the door. You have to go to the log, and if you go to the log, it doesn't tell you that. It's basically reminding people that they have to go to the log
well,
instead of
yes,
to
but
the
I've got the key
right.
physically in my thing. It should just go, and I'm there, and I hit the key, and it goes in, rather than auto dialoguing. I need, but I've already got. That's
True. It might sound a bit redundant saying, I need a blue key. Oh, wait, it's right here. I'll put that in the lock, which is what keys use. Do that, dumbass! And we don't want to kind of like bonk the player on the head with that. Just kind of a quick reminder, just to say, I need this key. Oh, yeah, I've got it. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the lock. You know.
Right. I just thought that that dialogue where you already had the key and you wandered, even if you wander within 5 feet of it, I need the blue key. I'm like, I'm not unlocking you yet. I'll be back for you in a second. There are a few people over here I'd still like to kill. But the blue key. I'm like, yes, I get it.
In due time,
But no,
hobo guy. In due
yeah,
time.
I swear. But I shouldn't probably keep you too much longer because, I mean, y'all have busy things to do. You have bugs to squash, and you have voices to voice over. And I'm really, really excited for you and seeing some of the new stuff, the Time Splitters stuff. I'm especially curious about. So keep me informed about that if you would,
Sure
because I
thing,
would
sure
love to.
thing.
When that drops, let me know. I'm gonna make a point of snatching that.
It's making headlines right now, actually. Website with a countdown on it, too, so stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned.
Oh, excellent. And like I said, Raj, you got anything you're announcing for or comfortable, teasing out about what might be upcoming for you?
Not at the moment. The most upcoming things is probably the GOG version and the German people getting access to the game, which is one hot topic out there, which I answer to like several times a day.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
so
I know that
we're working
that's a
on,
sticky one.
yeah, we're working on both. And yeah, I'll let everyone know when I know more.
One last thing that I forgot to put in, um, microprose, the bear in the room. Let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
that for a second because I mean they've brought us everything from pirates to civilization, and now Nazi killing hobos. You want to talk a little about the process, about how it was approached, things only that you can share. I mean, I understand that there's certain things to the process you may or may not be able to discuss, but you know, for the people that are interested like me at home, what does that process look like?
In the area of how they found me, I'm not quite fully sure. I know that there's this woman that helps us, this Gajda Andrea. She's a woman that we met on Twitter. She's doing PR and marketing, and she's been helping the project for like about a year now. And she's been super good to help me with learning how to promote the game, what to do in certain occasions, how to have a press kit ready, all that kind of stuff. And think through her, and also a little bit the dev from Dying Breed, which is also a game Jake is in. They proposed to Microsoft. I sorry, proposed to Microprose, and they approached me. Actually, the CEO approached me, David, and I talked directly to him the whole process until the contract was signed. And after that, I'm just there's a big Discord channel which is private only for them and I, and everything goes in there and like marketing and discussions with the people higher up in the company. And yeah, it's pretty cool experience. I really so far it's been very good for I think both of us. So I think they're happy. I'm happy. So it's all good.
Did they kind of let you have free reign, or did they
Oh yeah.
kind of put their finger in the pie a little bit and say maybe you ought to do a little like this? I mean,
No, not really. The only thing that we agreed on is that the game has to have a longer life than it was supposed to. Because if they're going to sign, they're not going to sign only for a free game. That doesn't really make a lot of sense for a company. So the idea was that I could do whatever I wanted. I could release the game for free, like I had been saying, and I could do my soundtrack. I can sell my soundtrack on Bandcamp, which I'm actually doing. Which that's let's say that they don't have rights over the music, neither mine or Jake's.
hmm,
They just have right to publish where the game is published. They have full publishing rights over the game, but also the IP is still mine, and I can decide if I want to make a whole new game about it, and outside of Microprose, which I mean,
okay, that's excellent.
why? Because if yeah, but if it works for everyone, it's probably the best to stay. Because if something's working, why would you
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't
know
see going away
great?
from
Yeah.
Microprose because number one, they've had their hands in some of the most solid, iconic games from
Mm-hmm.
the 80s on. I mean, I can think of 8-inch floppies that I used to have that had Microprose on the label.
Yeah.
That's back in the Stone Ages of
Mm-hmm.
when things were 16 colors,
Yeah, they've
16
been
colors,
there.
not
Yeah, they've been.
16 million colors,
Oh
16
yeah.
colors.
I was playing on a green monitor on my Amstrad. It only had one color, so figure that.
I played the
But micro,
original King's Quest in monochrome, and
yeah.
that was nuts. People
The
say,
micropros were there already.
yeah, Microprose. I think they weren't they the ones that did the original Flight Simulator, or no, that was Microsoft. They did an
I think
original
it
micro.
was Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Microsoft.
I
yeah.
think so.
It
Yeah.
was, but they had a lot of. I mean, '80s flight simulators on computers were
Hmm.
really hard to look at. If you look at with 2025 eyes, if you go back on Google and you look at like original flight simulator, it's just gonna be a bad time. It's like looking at the
Oh yeah,
old King's Quest One Sierra, walking around with these.
yeah,
You can't even. They look like Muppets because you can't even see the eyes. And that, like I said, that was my first beta test game in '84. My mom got a copy because she wrote off to the thing, and I got to have my name was in the credits for that one too, because it was they listed all the people they sent out copies for testing for the end
nice.
of that, and it kind of got the bug bitten, and so whenever there was a beta, I always would jump in when I can, and I'm really glad that I was able to get into this playtest and meet you wonderful people and say that I actually did something instead of just goofed around and played a game. It really means a lot to me that you guys let me do that and then are letting me, pick your brain today.
Oh, yeah, it's been great to have you, man. Like I said, I had a lot of fun watching you play. I feel like you're a cool guy, so it's all good, man. Hobo likes you too, so what do you want?
That's true. I want more games. I want lots and lots more games. I want you to be coding until you are no hair and all beard, and I
I'm
want
almost
that.
down here already.
Well, it's it.
I'm almost there.
Hey, it favors you though. Some people don't
Okay.
have the. If I shaved my head, it would look like a stepped on avocado. It's just not good. I did that once while my wife was at the store, and she said, "If you ever shave your head again, I am going to divorce you." So
That's what
I
happened to me with this.
yeah, this too is a it must stay. So
Yeah,
this was my
it
summer
is what
beard.
it is.
Yeah, so this is the winter beard. This fills in the winter because yeah, that's the southern way. It's the hunting beard for the tree stand. But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure having you guys. And like I said, once I get the YouTube thing fleshed out and all that, I want to have you guys back and maybe do a rehash, not necessarily a rehash, but where are they now? What's going on now? And hopefully by then we can talk a little bit more about Time Splitters. And
Yeah,
when
down
Yeah.
for
Time
that.
Splitters comes up, maybe I'll have you for a separate interview or something on that.
We'll see. Yeah,
So, like I said,
I'd
if
definitely
you,
be down for that.
I'll keep you in my contacts, for Discord, definitely, because like I said, I loved working with you guys, with you, tangentially, Jake. I only just started talking to you this week, really. I think we spoke on the Discord a few times during the playtest, but it's just been
We saw,
fun,
yeah.
and being allowed to do this has been good. And if there's any other things that you want tested or broken in any way, I
I'll definitely
humbly
keep you in mind.
I humbly sub or if you know of any way I can break my broken ass into the voice acting thing, we can talk outside of the interview about that too.
Yeah, drop a
Because
line, drop a line. Same with anyone else. Anyone else out there who's watching and wants to learn more about just voice acting advice or tips or breaking into this field in general. I'm not, I'm not an encyclopedia of knowledge who gets everything right, but I think I've got enough experience and enough enough reasonably wise advice to offer in regards to all that. So drop a line.
absolutely. And is there any words of encouragement, Raj, you could give to somebody that might be on the cusp of getting bitten by the development bug?
Yeah, just stay strong, man. It's gonna be a rough way, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to see if what you're doing is worth. And if you think that it is, then you have to stay on it and never falter. Because if you do, you're gonna fail. That's the most important thing. It's you have to be resistant because time's gonna get tough. And you have to, if you want to get to the finish line, you have to take it with patience and uh, and also know when to rest. You know, if you're getting burnt out,
that's
know
a
when to
that's
rest.
a
Make do.
good. That's a good tip.
Yeah, do another prototype, try something different that's fun at that time, and then get back to the big project because it takes a long time. It's a long, 4 years or 5 years or 3 years or even 2 years. It's a long, long, long time to stick to the same project. So
And you said you've
take
been
breaks.
developing this for it was what 4 years?
It's 4 years and 3 months about, yeah.
That's a lot of time to be doing anything.
Yeah, but that's it. I done a couple prototypes. One of them got a little bit advanced, and I just dropped it because I didn't feel like. But at the time, it was very good for me to learn some stuff, learn about structuring the code and stuff that I didn't know about. And it's going to be hard to do with Darkenstein because the game's pretty much already made, and I don't want to refurbish the whole thing. So,
Right on. So that's like a good words of encouragement on both counts because it is a space right now that isn't like oversaturated. It's in a good place where we have indie games like Wizordium coming out and all that have all kind of it's risen all boats where with all the popularity of indie games coming out that you guys saying yeah stick with it no matter what people are saying. That's a message that
that's not
more,
exactly what
huh?
that's not exactly what I meant to
Oh,
say. I meant to say you have to understand the value of what you're doing and then promote it if you think I think that it is a bit saturated right now and that it's probably right to do things like build a slice of the game and see how people react and see if you can market it. I think if you're going to do 4 years of development, you have to look at it from a, I guess, practical place too and be aware that like I yeah that's probably one of the hardest things to understand if what you're doing is has a I don't know what the words are in English, but if it's gonna work out or not, and test the waters, post on Reddit, post on X. That's how I got into doing this. I was doing this as just a project to learn, and I posted on X, and people are like, okay, do you have to continue doing this and make a Steam page and all that? But I did it because I saw that people was interested. Otherwise,
well, I'm
and
glad you
even then,
did.
along these years, I felt alone a lot. And thankfully, I had Jake to lean on. But when it comes to the project itself, a lot of times it feels like no one cares. So
I could see where something that lasts that long, there would be bursts of well, there doesn't seem to be any interest in this.
yeah, even a few months
You
ago,
know, what do you do to like combat that? I mean, where you know that you got something good, but there's just not. I mean, where you're getting inside your own head. You know, how do you kind of
I try.
reconcile that and just KBO, keep buggering on.
I mean, once I've decided that I'm going to do it, then I just try to take one thing at a time. I feel like when things feel overwhelming, you have to take the easy ones and you know just scratch some of those, which sometimes because that's pretty much a bit what I'm doing right now. It's just because I'm overwhelmed. The list of things to do is so long, so I'm taking the easier ones and you know doing them on block because that my list is more manageable and even if it's harder stuff, but when I look at it, it's like okay, I have this, and 20, 30, 40 things more, but it's not like 100 things. Because let me tell you, people find stuff. People find so much stuff that's wrong with the game, and it's nonstop. So
That's excellent though, but to see this finally come out has been awesome for me. I like I said, I'm just a tester, and I will
mhm.
forever stick to that. But in the final few weeks of it before it came out, I was getting giddy. I was getting excited about it because it was something I had touched in some way. And I was getting annoying in other people's streams going, you guys need to play this fucking game. You know, getting it out there. Anybody that would listen, I was like that guy in Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner that was stopping everybody and telling the story. You know, but
I feel like
it's worth it.
Well, thank you for that.
But like I said, I'm gonna probably have to call it here because one, I'm running out of things. I think that I've picked y'all's brain pretty clean. I think we can say as a week debrief of a release of a game, this has been the press junket from hell.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
You didn't have to agree quite so soon, but that's fine. I'll take it. I will take it.
No one said anything. I was waiting. Okay.
It's
I'm
great.
trying to fill the void.
It's good. It's good. No, I really appreciate you guys and thank you for giving me the time.
Yeah.
And, again, thanks for everything y'all are doing. The voice acting stuff is something that's very important. And if ever there's anything I can do to get any word out for anything, just, let me know. I want to see you succeed, both of y'all, either as Team Rowye or separately doing your own things, doing great things. Y'all two have, endeared yourselves to me quite a lot. So if there's anything that I can do going forward at all, test it, break it, talk about it, I'm happy to give you guys airtime.
Awesome, man. It's good being
Really
here.
appreciate it.
And
I'm by no means the big bad Asmongold or anything. I don't have those numbers, but let's see what YouTube will do for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, looking forward to
Fingers,
that.
we're gonna
fingers
give it.
crossed all goes well for you.
Thank you so much. And like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure playing as the hobo guy with you guys. Doing it's good. It's good. Thank you so much. And like I said, anything you need, do drop into the stream from time to time. Sure, it's Fortnite, but it's funny Fortnite.
It's throwing trees on other people and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment they have the Halloween stuff, and you get to be the scream guy stabbing people. So I don't know how that's kid friendly, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they found ways.
True. It's a squeaky knife. That's what it is. It's a squeaky knife.
Okay.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
just
really not.
It's raspberry jam.
Yeah. You derez. It's like Tron. So there's no blood. Well, like I said, barring anything else you guys want to say, any final words before we turn the cameras off and I go find a bong hit?
No, I'm good, man. Thank you for having you. Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us both on board. This is actually the first time me and Roger here have been on camera chatting.
Yeah, that's
very
actually
fun
crazy.
too. I personally like to say, yeah, to all the fans out there, thank you so much for playing Darkenstein 3D. If you've not played it, all I'm going to say is play Darkenstein 3D, or I'll kick your ass and eat your pie. So,
seeing
keep
you
that in
deliver
mind.
seeing you deliver the lines actually adds a lot more credence to the accent, because you do the mouth the same way, like, I beat your pie. It's that whole way you hold your mouth. So thank you. Like I said, as a southerner, you hit it out of the ballpark, and a lot of you folks from over there the other side of the pond are usually stepping and fetching when it comes to doing our accents. So thank you.
No problem, no problem. And I hope as well, people in the chat, hope you guys have been enjoying Darkenstein 3D too, and thank you for watching as well. Legend of the Sprog.
Oh
saying,
yeah.
Will Jake marry me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, she's like, yeah.
Hey, I'm single. Never say never.
Yeah, never say never, and wow. Yes. All I gotta say is thumbs up. But yeah, she was like, he's a cutie, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So, Raj, you got some final words for the kids out there?
Just play the game. I hope you enjoy it. It's gonna get even better than it is now. So just yeah, check it out.
I'm here for it, guys. I'm here for it. I'm gonna, like I said, I've already signed on to be lifelong tester. As long as he's making them, I'll be breaking them.
And I'm
So
gonna keep
you
sending
keep
it to
sending
you.
shit to me, I'll be more than happy. Same for you, Jake.
Yep.
Anything you want me to look at or anything, I'm always a good sounding board if you need it. I'm out of here, guys. It's nice to have finally met y'all, and I'll see y'all on Discord and Twitter.
Sounds
All
good.
right, see you,
Sounds
man.
good. Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
All right. Let's go ahead and